Concept, of course, is we're swapping songs, which was something we stole from ourselves way back when we were 20.
And we invented the idea.
Of swapping songs with each other, yes, we did.
Oh, okay. How are we doing? We did it.
Yes, welcome to another riveting episode of the greatest television show on earth.
Do you call it a television show? It's a podcast. We just want.
It's whatever you want it to be. It's.
I guess if you watch it on your TV, it's a TV show. Hi, I'm Michael C. Smith.
He's Michael C. Smith.
Hi, I'm Peyton Walker.
No, I'm Peyton Walker.
And this is called, what's it called again?
Cousin Song Exchange.
Cousin Song Exchange. A show where we're both songwriters.
And we're both cousins.
And we're both cousins. Identical. And we both write songs, and we've been doing it for a long time. And
him longer than I.
Is that right? Well, I'm a year older than you.
You're a year older, and
I got a year on you.
And I had a 15 or so year sabbatical from writing, so hopefully we'll iron that out here.
Tell me more about that. Why on earth would you stop writing?
Life got complicated and difficult, and the well dried up, at least for a while. So, but things are starting to click again a little bit here and there, and
good.
Hopefully over the course of this, we'll have some new songs.
More between us. I'm going to put that right there. I don't understand that. When life gets, the more complicated it gets, I think the more I have to write things down. But I don't journal or anything. I think that the songwriting is journaling for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, time was stretched then, and the time I did have to do it, it just wasn't coming to me. So.
Yeah. I certainly had dry spells.
Yeah.
Yeah. For like a month or two.
Anyone who delves in any kind of writing, I imagine, does have dry spells. Mm-hmm. So,
I'll tell you, it doesn't come as easily as it used to. It doesn't come as fast.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're younger, most songwriters, I think, have their bulk of their work is usually probably between 18 and 30, I would imagine. You're kind of younger and things are fresh and everything seems new and vibrant, and you just got to write it down. Then after a while, I think things aren't so new to you anymore, and you feel like you're rehashing things.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And that is a pattern in songwriting, right? I mean, everybody, right? The Stones haven't been as good at it in the last what?
Well, I don't
40
know.
years.
You're the expert on the Stones. So between the two of us,
they certainly. I mean, they started as teenagers, and it was just bam, 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 and then I think the thing there is, and I think this is true, and I know it's true for me. If you're actually writing every day, and because it is work, you have to sit down and make yourself do it. Sometimes inspiration will hit, and you write a song really quickly. Other times, I think you just gotta. When I'm at my best, I'm just writing every day, whether I feel like it or not,
Yeah.
And I think that, I don't know if this is true for every band, but I think for them, when they were really living together and on the road all the time and young, and all they did was play music, and that's all they did. So the songs were just there, and now they're older and they do other things and they have families and it's a business, and, when it's time to write, maybe they haven't written in a year or two, right? And they get together and like, oh, we're going to the studio and let's start writing some songs. And that's a different work because you got to reconnect with whatever it is that you've lost by not sticking. Neil Young writes every day still. And because of that, he has like
well, he's
4 million albums or something.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not as good as they used to be. So maybe, I don't know what my point is, because even if you do keep writing.
Well, I don't know if I would say they're not as good. I would say the age of the speaker is different, and therefore the perspectives are changing and maybe wiser, and we aren't to that level yet.
I don't think I'm ever going to get to the level where whatever his record about his no gasoline car is going to be better than After the Gold Rush, No slide on Neil Young, but you know, I don't know. I think the old stuff or earlier stuff was, but now I will tell you, it happened to Bob too, right? He really dried up in the '80s, and then he was able to reconnect and find a new way of writing. And he's talked about in interviews, it doesn't come as naturally as Bob Dylan. I'm talking about. It doesn't come as naturally as it did.
He's on first. Without a last name basis with him. He's just Bob.
I want to be careful while we're doing this show to explain who I'm talking about, because for me, when I talk about the Stones, I'm just talking about the Stones, talking about Mick and Keith, and I've been talking about them for 30 years. But for somebody finding this channel, they may not know. So if you don't know who the Rolling Stones are, I would recommend don't watch this. Stop, look up the Rolling Stones, and you know, learn that.
Subscribe.
But subscribe to this.
Hit that like button because we told you to go somewhere else. That makes no sense. We obviously don't know what we're doing.
You gotta know what you gotta I don't know what I'm saying. I was saying that Bob has found a way to reconnect with something that's a different kind of songwriting, but works really well for him, and that's why from Time Out of Mind on,
like I
he's
said,
been putting out
he made it
masterpieces.
fresh, he made it new to where it was something he could enjoy again. And I think for me, I hit a period where the fresh and the new, you know, to a young songwriter who doesn't really know that much about music, you think everything you're doing is a discovery, but it's been done before for centuries. So, you know, and when you start looking at it as a student rather than someone discovering an explorer, when you become a student instead of an explorer, then you kind of, I think the songwriting, the creative aspect of it kind of dries up a little bit until, like you said, pull a Bob and find a new way of looking at things. So, and I would say like Paul Simon did the same thing. For example, in the Graceland album, that was quite a different way of writing for him.
And Paul Simon started in the '60s, and Graceland came out in mid '80s.
Yep.
Yeah. So to reconnect and make a record that powerful that far into your career is pretty rare. So I would argue that you're right. He probably did figure out a different way of looking at things.
You want to argue? No.
I would argue that yes.
Well, let's do some song exchanging here because I'm getting tired of hearing me. And I'm just kidding. No, but what song do you have for us?
Well, I was thinking that I would start this off with one of my early songs that I really like a lot, and I still play live. Basically every time I play, because I just love the song, and I think it works that well. I wrote it, you know, when I was in my early 20s, which is where the germ of this idea began. I lived in Gainesville in a little house on Ridgewood Avenue. Not really that little of a house, but really cool house on Ridgewood Avenue. And
I remember that house.
Yeah, that's where this started. You could come over.
Yeah.
Once a week, every Sunday or something? And we would swap songs?
Every Saturday, Sunday, we'd write songs and play the songs we've written to each other. Yeah.
There's something else too. When you're in your early 20s, you got a lot more time. Or I did.
Yeah, that's true too.
All I did was sit around and play guitar and try to write.
You don't have as many responsibilities and obligations to live up to.
Yeah, I wasn't married yet. I didn't have kids yet. I was just, you know, there was you coming over. Brandon Reeves, who's a great songwriter, would come over a lot.
His links are in the description.
We have a description.
Maybe.
So that's all we were doing, man. So every week he'd come over and we would sit down and I would have a new song or two and you'd have a new song or two and we'd swap them, or we even tried to collaborate together, which you say we did. I don't recall.
A little bit, not a whole lot. Yeah. Most of our collaborations were, I wrote a piece of music and I was like, I don't feel like writing lyrics for this, or the lyrics aren't coming to me. Hey Michael, you got any lyrics? And you'd sit down and pin it out real quick, and then, woo, there's a song. And usually there were songs that were, I'd got up to a certain point, and I couldn't quite finish it, and you'd come in and save the day. So that's the bulk of our collaboration.
Sounds vaguely familiar. I have a terrible memory for things that happened in my life. You know? I could take you through the Keith Richards biography, but I can't take you through the Michael C. Smith biography very well.
Well,
I don't know
so
what it is.
what's the name of the song?
I'm going to start with When She's Around, which is a song I wrote on this guitar, which is my Gibson J45, and is kind of the love of my life. Growing up in Gainesville, that's Gainesville, Georgia, I want to tell you where the song came from, because there's like two little things that you need to know. I was going to a friend of mine's high school graduation. He was, I think, a year or two older. I think he was 2 years ahead of me. And I was dating this girl, and we were going to go to the graduation. And I was driving this 88 Jeep Comanche pickup truck, which I loved so much. And I almost destroyed it because I didn't take care of it and whatever. And my dad would come in and kind of take it to the mechanic. And one time, I used to jump speed tables in it in Gainesville. Like if you get going down the hill real good, hit the speed table, I get a little lift off. And I did that a lot. And and train tracks and whatever else I could find to run over fast enough to get a little lift off. And at one point I was driving the Jeep and it was rattling. Like the whole thing was just rattling terribly. And so I told my dad about it, and he got in and drove it, and he drove it over to a mechanic buddy of his, and I had literally just shaken all the nuts and bolts loose. Like the Jeep was just like falling apart. And I didn't stop jumping, whatever I could. I didn't change the way I drove. It just was like, okay, thanks for having it tightened up. So anyways, we were going to this graduation, and I was in this old red Jeep, and I'm always distracted. I'm almost never paying attention to what I'm doing. And we were going into the parking deck behind the Georgia Mountain Center, and it had like those arm things that come down. And I could be wrong, but I think it was pay at the time. I think you had to pay, but it certainly had those gate things. And I pulled up to it and couldn't reach the button, so I opened the door to get out, but I didn't put the Jeep in park, and I took my foot off the brake, and so it went forward and broke the gate thing, and I didn't fall down or anything. I was like, and I got back in, and as we drove through the gate, I stopped it, and I was like, and this was before like security cameras or anything, so I was like, and so I just went and parked, and we went, and so there is actually a line in the song about that. But then, fast forward a few years, I'm not living at Ridgewood anymore. I'm living with my first wife, Shannon, and we were in our home also in Gainesville, house we were renting, and I started writing this song, and I thought it was kind of a throwaway. I thought it was silly lyrics and not that great, and she was passing by the hall, and she said, "That's great, keep that one." I was like, okay. And so then I started playing it out live, and ultimately ended up on my first record, and it stuck with me, and I like it a lot. Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, here it goes. This is called When She's Around. Iris takes the paintings down and leaves the room without a sound. She never calls when she's around, but she's always on my mind. Matchsticks and the cigarette wind, and it looks like you and all your friends have been down to the coast. Back again, I ain't drinking this time. Ragged saviors thumb their rides with circus clowns and immigrant smiles. When she's around, when she's around. In the parking lot that I set free, I liberate old red and me. This town closes down at 3:15. That's when I wake up. Georgia pines hang low and green. Wolverines in the back seats with his beauty queens. Sometimes they play so rough. You bury me naughty in the high tide. I'm always broken I'm always broken when she's around, when she's around. It's been 7 days since I saw furniture move, but only an hour since I last saw you playing dress up, baby. Sleep tight now, angel. Leave this hotel burning down. Leave it burning down when she's around, when she's around, when she's around, when she's around. Woo! Yeah, so that's that one.
That's a keeper.
That's what she said. Another buddy of mine said, "Hey man, that's like your Great American Anthem song right there. That's yours." I want to say, have you ever written a song where you have definitely taken the chord progression from another song? Maybe you don't realize it when you're doing it, but then you get it. I would real quickly like to point out, I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan, and I was really getting into him around the time I wrote this song. And I was in a band, and we were covering one of his songs that goes like this. And I didn't realize it when I wrote it, but other than that B minor, it's, you know.
Yep. Well,
And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that happens a lot, obviously. You know, we're not making this up.
Yeah.
I'm sure Springsteen isn't the first person to use that chord progression, obviously. Not in 1978.
right.
But yeah, just a little subconscious thing that happens when you're writing songs.
Well, yeah, we all stand on the shoulder of giants, as they say. And it's
I've
no
met
different
him.
in music.
I'm a little taller than he is.
But not when he wrote that song.
That's right. He's wearing those cowboy boots. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll sing a song for you.
Well, you got to talk about it a little bit.
Well, I talk about it better with a guitar in my hand.
I understand that.
Have I written a song using someone else's chord progression, whether be it purposefully or subconsciously? And yes, I'm sure that I have, but I couldn't tell you a single one of them.
Is that right?
No.
What happens to me is I don't mean to do it, and then I will start playing my song and accidentally play the other song. I'll go, oh, oops.
Actually, yes.
I've done it to myself before too. I'll start playing one of my songs and start accidentally playing a different one of my songs. And oh, I'm ripping myself off.
Well, this song comes to mind when I'm thinking about a song from another artist that I have enjoyed and admired, and as you know, I'm a big John Denver fan.
Mm-hmm.
And
who's John Denver?
He's some guy that had something to do with mountains or something.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. No, but
if you don't know, look him up. Leave the channel immediately and look him up.
No, stay here.
Don't waste your time on us.
Uh,
Something many better other things to do.
Anyhow, he wrote a song that went like this. Let's see if I can remember it. Okay, that was basically the start of it. And it delves off into something completely different than what I do in the song that I wrote, but I kind of took that beginning a little bit, and maybe you can kind of hear it in here somewhere.
Is it exactly the same?
Not exactly.
Uh-huh.
But I took that and wrote this little, I guess, intro. Well, anyway, it's a big part of this song, and this is a song I wrote. So that's the music behind the story of this song, and then lyrically, I was just gone through I guess you would say my first adult breakup.
Yes. Those are the best.
Yeah.
Those are the best for songs.
And I decided to get a couple of my best friends, and we went to New York on a trip. I don't know what it is about guys, but we like to roam out of our comfort zone when we go through a big breakup, I think. Or a lot of guys go through that, I think. They need to go on a journey and just get away, I guess, and find themselves or something. But
I never want to be uncomfortable.
yeah. So anyway, out of that came this song.
And then you went to New York. When was this?
When was this? This was 2023-ish. I'm sorry, 2003-ish. Yeah.
I was going to say 2023 is last year.
Yeah, my first adult breakup happened 2 years ago on my 44th or 43rd birthday.
So 2003?
Yeah, 2003. So I was about 23, I guess.
Right on. That sounds fun. Maybe not the breakup, but the New York trip. I love New York.
Well, the trip was fun. I just bought a new car and put a ton of miles on it for this trip, which is another stupid, young person move. But hey, you only get to be stupid once, just like you only get to be young once.
That's not true.
All
I get to be stupid.
You only get to be young once.
lot.
You get to be stupid many times.
There it is.
Yeah,
You nailed it.
Okay. I was a stranger riding on the bus, traveling north to avoid the fuss. When out of nowhere came a smile, reminded me of a woman's cuss. The way they pull the strings, the way they can laugh at you, the way they just don't give it a thought. Oh, come again, come again. Riding down New Jersey Turnpike, we pay the toll and see how far we can go. Talk for hours on and through the night, not knowing what to find in morning's light. We may hold each other close, we may sit fairly well, we may not even give it a thought. Oh, come again, come again, come again. Can't you get off of that island? Come again, no, what the hell did you say? Come again, I know we can find our way homeward. Come again, I know you can get across that ocean. Come again, come again, come again. I was a stranger riding on the bus, traveling north to avoid the fuss. But to notice as I was leaving, I've only begun to pay this toll. I've just begun to pay this toll.
I love it. Do I know that one?
Yeah,
I think
thought
I've
you
heard it
did.
before. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
sure. I've played it for you at some point.
What's it called? Come again?
Come again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful, Peyton.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for writing it.